Hi there, it's Karen here. Welcome back. And today is supposed to be Altered Index Day, but I didn't fancy the prompt this week. It was photos and I just wasn't feeling it. So I've allowed myself to do something different today just because this is something I fancy doing. And I'll do the Altered Index Challenge when the prompts speak to me and I can get an idea of what I want to do. But this week it didn't happen. So instead, I'm going to make a start on putting the journal, the Owl Fairy journal together. But going through the papers and making up the signatures up to a point. There may be more to be added. But I just thought it'd be nice to make a start because we've been starting to make ephemera. I've got quite a lot of ephemera made one way and another for this journal, and we'll keep on making some. But I thought, well, let's just put some papers together so you can see where we're going. Well, I thought I can see where we're going with this. So I'll just go through. There are loads of papers. There, the two kits I'm using, as I've mentioned previously. This is the Medieval Mirage Owls. Excuse me, as usual, I've got a croaky throat. Owls and Raptors is the kit. I'm just picking out mostly the pages that have got the owls on. I'm thinking I might do a different journal with the raptors, the birds of prey on, because they're beautiful as well. And I could certainly put together enough papers to do a journal for that one. So this one, I'm actually combining with another kit by Crafty Cat USA. So the Owl and Raptor kit is by Medieval Mirage. The other kit I'm using is called Fae, and it's by Crafty Cat USA. And I just thought the colours went well together. So that's what I've gone with. So quite a lot of these are now backed with the Fae papers. So I'll just go through them and I will turn them over so you can get both sides, because the Fae papers tend to be more collagey rather than having focal points on, so we can add focal points. So it does vary. So this one I've backed with this one. So they're quite colourful, quite dark in places, quite woodlandy. But I kind of thought, to me, the colours do pull out. It may be just me that feels that way. So then there's this one. And I've got this on the back. So some of these papers are from the Medieval Mirage kit. So I haven't completely just backed with the Fae kit. I've mixed it. And the Fae kit also has backing type papers. I'll put them in as well. And then there's this one. That gorgeous paper. I do think, especially where some of these are quite neutrally, it's quite nice to inject a bit of colour from the other side. This is one of the Fae papers. It's like a faded out version of one of the other papers, and I like the faded version really rather than the really, really bold one, just to bring in bits of different levels of tone, I think, is what I'm aiming for. I love this one. So, yeah, this is very Medieval Mirage, this, isn't it? I do like that. And then I've got this Fae one on the back. And this one with this one on the back. I mean, they're just so beautiful. I couldn't not use them. I just found that they just spoke to me. So we've got this one, the lovely little owls. And then this is another backing paper from that kit. And then we've got this one. More backing paper from the same kit. I'll mix them up a bit so that they're not all the same together. And then there's this one from the Fae kit. So there is a hawk. It looks like some sort of hawk there, which I may keep, or I may even cover it up with something else. And this is actually one of the Fae kit backing papers. And there's this one, another backing paper from the Fae kit. And then there's this one, another colourful one from the Fae kit. So there are lots more papers in both kits that I can draw on to make pockets or ephemera. I may even end up making page extensions, I'm not really sure. But so that's those. Then I've got a few extra bits here that I might add in, I'm not sure. So not that one. So there was a couple of other owly ones that I thought I might still bring in. So there's this one, which is like it's on an old castle or something. I like that. So it's hard to choose. I have picked out the ones I've backed. There are 12 of them, and I'm thinking of doing 3 signatures, so 4 in each. If I decide to do 5 in each, I've got another 3 here that I could use, and I may well do because I do like them. But these aren't backed, these ones. So there's this one. This is very similar, which is why I'm not sure about it, because it's pretty much the same background, just the birds are in different positions, so I think it might be an either or on that one. Then I've got this one. Is that so there is only those 2. So whether I'll add those in, I'm not sure. I thought it was 3, but I didn't realise that 2 of them were pretty much the same. And on the other papers, I've got a few other papers that I thought I might want to bring in. I'm really not sure, from different kits, different makers as well. So I've got a couple of Roxy Creations papers here. They both have an owl on them. These are both from her botanical kit number 1. And I wasn't sure because the style is so different. But it has got an owl on it, you see. So I have this one and I have this one. So it may be that I'll end up just using these, pulling these pieces out to put onto ephemera or to make some sort of extra embellishment rather than using the whole papers. So they're just there as an extra. And again, I've got a few here that may or may not go. If I decided to use another one of these or another one, I've got these as potential backing papers. These are some Willing Morris papers that I thought may potentially go with this kit. So they've got that one. That's that way up. That one, I'm not sure about that one. It's got a bit too much pink in it. I think this was the best candidate because I thought this went really well with the colours here. So I may use this, or I may not, or I may use it for some collaging, I don't know. So I've just pulled out papers that I thought might add to the whole thing. So that's that. So I want to put, hang on, let's just put all these extra bits. Don't want to get them mixed up. Put them here. Over there. Now these are the ones that I'm actually going to use, so I'm going to put them here. And then I thought I'd just show you what the other things that I have also pulled out to fill up the journal. And I seem to have done things more or less in 3s, so I was clearly thinking I might do 3 signatures. It seems to lend itself, because the kits are so big, anything less than 3 signatures wouldn't really do it justice. So I've got some book pages here. I don't know if I'll use them all. I may use just some. So this is a book plate or an illustration from one of my children's botanica books that I've been dipping into quite a lot. It's a shame it's not one of their lovely coloured book plates that are really glossy and that are plain on the black back, but they really make a nice statement and they're a nice page. This is just an ordinary page in the book with writing on the back, but that's okay. And I pulled out the next door one because it talks about owls here. So these 2 pages kind of go together. So whether I use all of this or just a bit of it, I'm really not sure how I'm going to use this yet. But I just thought I'd see. I mean, I could keep it whole or I could make it half a page. I'm not really sure, but I've got that. Then I have a couple of papers from my Edith Holden book. Pulled these out because I thought they went really well. Woodland. I could put an image of an owl or a fairy on here. Similarly here, I thought an owl maybe on this one, maybe a fairy on this one, because there's lots of toadstools and mushrooms and things in the fake kit. So I thought this was beautiful. And I liked this one as well, the woodland idea, so I thought there might be an owl. I know owls don't necessarily live in the woodland, just work with me. But woodland it's got that feel to it, of both, you know, in the kit. Anyway, so that's some Edith Holden. They may go together, or I may only use one of them in the end, I'm not sure. Then I have this one, so I've only got this one page. This is from another book, which is a similar type of idea to the Edith Holden, but very different style. And this is the book. It's Janet Marsh's Nature Diary, and of course it was the Diary of an Edwardian Lady. This one, the Edith Holden. So it's a similar idea, but obviously it's a very different style. This one, and it's much more recent. I think when was the first impression was 1979, so it's not as old. This is a book that was gifted to me by a very good friend of mine who thought I might like it, and there are some wonderful images and I mean, it's just beautiful paper as well. So I took the page of the tree, thinking maybe that would work with as a page extension, or as one page, just because it's a tree and I might put a fairy in it or something. I'm not sure. The colours may not work on this one. It's a little bit more pastel than perhaps the other papers. I'm not sure this would work so well. I think the Edith Holden works better, and possibly even these web pages might work a bit better. I'm not sure yet. Then I have got 3 different coloured straw papers that I'll need to cut down. So I've got the lime green, the raspberry, and this kind of tan colour, I suppose that is. I thought these colours would work quite well with the kits. I have got a couple of pieces of dyed paper. So this is coffee dyed using a leafy stencil. And this is just green. It's a food colour dyeing, and this is just a nice piece of paper out of a pad that I have. I think it was one of my mother-in-law's, and I think it's probably some sort of sketch paper. So it's sort of artist sketch paper, but it's a lovely quality paper, and I just thought that would go nicely in there too. And finally, I've got 3 other types. I've got some music paper. I've got a piece of old ledger, which would obviously need to be cut down quite a bit. And I've got a newer piece of plain ledger paper as well. So I've got all these, and somehow I'm going to put this together and make it into a journal. Not sure how. So I've just been literally going around pulling things out this morning, thinking they might work. And now I've got to somehow make them work. So let's start. I think what I might do with this is turn them over so I can mix up the background papers a bit to make sure I haven't got too many plain ones next to each other. So we've got that. I'm going to do them in piles. I've got the plainer backgrounds and the more decorative backgrounds. I'm just going to pull out the plain ones, and then I'm just going to alternate them, make sure I've got a bit of everything. That one and that one. Have I got it about even? I've no idea. I wasn't even trying to, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that's kind of worked out rather well. So what I can do is just pop one of these. I'll do a Medieval Mirage one, Crafty Cat one, Medieval Mirage one, and the Crafty Cat one, Medieval Mirage one, and the Crafty Cat one. That's kind of worked out really well. I've got 6 of each, so 6 of each backing paper, and then of the plain ones I've got 3 of each, so 3 of each make. So that's interesting. That wasn't intentional at all. That's pure luck. Right, so now we need to fold them. So I'm gonna, these are all printed onto 100 GSM paper, which I am favouring these days because I think it just makes them a little bit stronger, feels a little bit more substantial. I was finding the 80 was just a little bit thin and flimsy. So I suppose it makes sense perhaps for these ones to be the centre pages, possibly. So let's just put some signatures together. Kind of randomish. I'll probably move them around. I've just got to make sure. Yep. These will be in different. These will be in different signatures. How many have I got? I'm going to do 4 in each. 1, 2, 3, 4. One signature. Then that's going to be the centre. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on. No, I need one with the colourful background. Yep. One, 2, 3, 4. So then there should be 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I may move the pages around because I need to decide which one I want on the front. Kind of like that. I wanted something more colourful on the front, I think. So one of these two, this one. That's going to go on the front. Quite like her on the front, but I don't think she should be on the front signature. I think she can be the middle. Yes, and what about this one? Which one do I want on the front there? I think that's fine. I quite like that one. What about that way round? Whoops, I just gathered up the other one. Yes. Okay. So we have 3 signatures. Whoop-de-doo. Now let's prepare some of these other papers. Some of them won't need a lot because they're probably big enough already. I just want to vary the sizes a little bit, so I don't want this, but I want to keep this, but I don't want it right on the edge because it might get caught. So I'm thinking I might have it not quite as wide, and then fold this piece in. This is really strong paper. I've got that one. How wide is that? Might make that one not quite as wide there. Fold that one that way. Okay. And this one. I'll just fold it like that for now. So that's one for each signature. And I've got these big boys. They're going to need cutting down. Right, so let's have a look at the size of the signature. I want to trim this off because this was where, this was half of the whole sheet, and this is where it got cut off, and it's got a bit curled. So I want to just trim that a little, and then I might see what else I want to do. Yeah. I don't want it to be too many built-in pockets and things. So I think I'm going to put that in there and just I think I'll just leave that for now and decide whether I want to either fold it up, fold it in, or trim the whole thing down. I haven't quite decided on these ones yet. Let's see. And again, I want to just trim that top off. And the same with this one. And actually, this is the top. This is the bit that needs trimming. One of those for each signature. Quite like the red with this one. Where's my other one gone? There it is. So there is, one of them has got a bright green in it. Yeah, this one. So I think this should have the green. I'm just going to put it in the middle for the minute. Love these colours. I think that just, I quite like it just like that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll give them have them sticking out a little bit, I don't know. Yeah, I like those. Then we have these. So I haven't got that many papers in each one yet, but that might not be a bad thing. So now I've got to look at my Edith Holden papers, and whether I put them together. I'm kind of half inclined to separate them and add them to something else. Because I could fold them and make and hinge them with something else. Let's get the bone folder. That doesn't look at all straight, does it? It does not. Look at that. Crazy. Alright. So let's do a bit of... I think I might have to finish my sentence. That's what I need to do. Finish my sentence. I need to get my bone folder? No. Scoreboard. I think I'll get the scoreboard. Right. Just going to line this up and try and score it. But it may just be that the paper's not straight. Not with that one, that's not going to work. Is that actually right? With a bit of a hump where it doesn't want to lie straight. Okay, that's better, I think. Okay, yes. So I could, let's have a look at the height. I might need to trim it down. Probably don't need August at the top there, so let's trim that off. Now, how does it work? So, yep, I need to just trim a little bit off here, but I think, and a tiny bit off the bottom, I think, yep. And then I think I'm going to attach it to some book page. Some old book page, that's what I think I'm going to do. Okay, might keep August. Let's see what I can find in the way of old book pages. Go into my Rachel folder. See if I can find a single one. I'm usually looking for doubled ones that are joined up, but I only want something reasonably strong. Maybe that one. It's quite big, a bit big. Getting a bit low on my Italian papers. Maybe that one. Not really that one. There's these, I'm not sure they're quite what I'm looking for. Just have another look. I have another folder here with a bit of a mix. Not that one. That might work size-wise. I'll just need to trim it a bit. Definitely don't want the heading. It says Guide to Household Work. We don't want that. We don't need a guide to household work, do we? Household work, who does that? So then I can join that in there. And this feels quite strong paper, this. So if I just glue that on there, then let's do that. Is that too wide? It is a little bit wide still, so I'm going to take a bit more off here. And I still may need to trim them down a bit once they're in the signature. That doesn't look straight across the top there, that's why I'm struggling a little bit with this. I haven't cut that straight, have I? No. Still not. What's that? Oh, I don't know, maybe the printing's not straight. Or, yeah. I know what isn't straight. My cutting isn't straight on this side. That's better. Take a smidge off that side again. Right. Right, so I'm going to glue this onto here. Like that. So it's almost in the middle, so the signature will get sewn in on the fold on this paper. Okay. Going for it. I've ended up making this a little shorter than the Edith Holden, but I might well trim down the Edith Holden paper. there, and then I will put a line of glue on the edge of here. Oop. Take that. No, I might take that bit more off the top because I've just got a smidge of August there, so maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of give myself room to take a little bit off the top and the bottom if I need to. I might just take that smidge off the top there so I don't have this weird bit of writing. Let's fold that and trim it. There we go. A bit long-winded, but hopefully that's now going to hold. I shall probably put something down here to decorate it anyway. Add things to it. That's going to be that one. And then I want to do the same with this piece. And I think this one, well, I will trim that first a little bit. It's a bit rough where I cut it out of the book. Oh, it's not going to fit in my trimmer. It's about... Okay, well, I'll have to take a bit off the bottom anyway, I think, so I'm going to do that. I'll probably need to take more off, but let's just start. Just get this edge tidied. I'm just wondering which way. I'm thinking I might what's the word? Score it. I've always struggled with that word. Score it here. And fold that and then add one of these two. Which one feels strongest? Possibly that one. So, yeah, okay. Right, so now we want to add that piece to it. Is that strong enough? See if I've got anything that seems a little stronger. Ooh, ooh. Or, okay, another thought. Could I add, oh, my owl page. If I cut that down, that would be a page, wouldn't it? Yes, that would be a page. Although now I'm down to just 2 book pages, so I'll have to rethink my pages possibly. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to think. I'll have to come up with some other way of a third one, won't I? Because I want to put these two together. It's about the right height. Well, it's about the same height. It may not be the right height. No, they're a bit tall. Okay, so trim a bit off the bottom of this one. Let's get it to about the right height. Yep, about right, I think. How are we doing? Yep, that's better. Now I need to take this to the same height. Okay, that's going to be okay, I think. And I want to tidy up this top edge. Right, first of all, straighten this up. Would be good. And then I can get a straight edge at the top. If this is straight, then this will be cutting straight, which it didn't before. And the bottom. I had to cut again because I just shaved the top of the book page there, so I had a little bit of that showing. And we'll cut off this. Just leaving a tiny border. So I don't want to lose the owl, the two owls on the inside. So I can either do it like that. Could I do it? No. No, I definitely want to do it like that. Yes. Yeah, they'll have to come in a bit more, otherwise these are going to fall off the edge. They're going to be too wide. Okay. I have to trim a bit more of this white off. I didn't want to lose too much of these two, but these are going to be sticking out and going to be vulnerable if I don't cut this down more. What I might do is turn this piece under to protect it and glue it down. Alright, let's do this. Let's glue. Oh. And do this. That there, sure it's straight. Okay, so we can still just see these two owls. And I am going to just fold this edge in. To strengthen it. and hopefully it won't stick out too far. No, that'll be all right. Then I can still trim off a bit of the Edith Holden if I need to, and I haven't lost my owls. Rather than trimming it, I'm going to cut it down. Not cut it, glue it down, fold it and glue it to make that edge of that paper a little bit more robust. Then I've always got the option, if I decide to make this into a little tuck like that, make that like that. I could do something like that. Right, so that's that page. So we've now got 2 book pages. I need to come up with the third, so I'll have to do that afterwards. And I've got 1 or 2 thoughts as to how I might do that, but they're not going to be something I can do right now. That was my straw paper. So the last thing to do, last few bits, are these papers. Okay, so we've got this plain ledger paper, which to me is crying out to be stenciled or something. I'll trim off that rough bit at the bottom. Might leave that, I don't know. Let's get my height again. Oh, actually, that would make quite a nice little sort of weird pocket, wouldn't it? We've folded that in there. And I don't know, maybe just trim that a corner off like that. We could make that into something. So I'm going to go with that, like that. Go with that like that. Yeah, that width is fine, and then I'm just going to trim it to height. Trim, trim, trim. Scissors. Goodness gracious, scissors. I need a pencil, not scissors. Well, yeah, not scissors. Trimmer. Pencil and trimmer. Alright, so that's that one. Next is this one. Looks quite old. Let's see if I can see a date on here. Can't see a date. Oh, 1882 up there. So, yeah. So this will go in as it is, I think. I'm going to... Oh. Now I think what I'll do, I will trim it. This one I might fold up. Let's see how... I think the paper feels fairly strong. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try trimming it to size on the side, but allowing a pocket so we don't lose too much of the height. I'll trim it there. and we'll go about there. Oh no, that's not going to work. Let's hope this trimmer doesn't mangle it, as it tends to mangle the some of the straw papers, or if they're quite old. Can mangle things sometimes if they're quite soft. Okay, that was fine. Good. Got some pieces to use. So then I will yeah, I'm definitely going to reinforce this bit along there. It looks a little fragile. And I'm going to fold it up to there. Yep. Yeah, I will reinforce this. I'll probably trim these bits off here. And is it folded straight? Not sure, because it's not lining up very straight. There. And then I'll probably fold over the tops just to reinforce that. So that's what I will do with this one. That needs a little bit more work on it. And then this one I'm just going to fold over this way. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. So, it took a little while to do, because these things always do. It always takes me a while to put these signatures together, especially when I want to add bits and I'm never sure how best to, when they're too big, whether to cut them, whether to fold them. But I quite like all the extra folded sections in some of these, in the signatures. I've lost my signature. There it is. So yeah, the straw papers, haven't quite decided how I'm going to do those yet, but there it is. One kind of started journal. I have no idea how I'm going to do the cover yet. I'm thinking I might even try and I'll have a look and see what fabrics I've got. I don't know. I've got to think about that. That's something for another time. So there we are. We have our start of our journal. We've got 3 signatures kind of put together and a few extra pages that need possibly a bit more work that I'll kind of put together and put the signatures together and see how it looks. I'm sorry if it's been a bit tedious watching me doing all this. It's kind of how I work. It takes me a while to figure out how I want things to go. Yeah, this is how I start working on a journal, really. I have to work my way into it. I have to get a feel for how I want it to look. I'm liking how this is going. I'm liking the colour scheme. It's kind of not... it's quite varied. There's a bit of neutrals, there's some colours, there's the owls that I love owls. But there's also going to be fairies going on in here. Obviously there's no real fairies showing in the papers at the moment. They're going to be popping up more in the ephemera. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one and a real contrast to the 50s journal that I'm working on, and that's what I love. I love to work, do things that are different from each other, so I just like a bit of variety. I think we all like a bit of variety, don't we? Oh, and the other thing I was going to show you, I have these 2 pieces of stamped fabric that I'd forgotten about almost, that I did a while ago, and they're these owls, and these are going to make fabulous embellishments, possibly a pocket or 2, or they'll go on a journal card. I just thought I'd show you those, just because I've just pulled them out this morning, thinking, right, mustn't forget those. So there we are. I think this is going to be interesting. So I will hope to get on with this a bit more fairly soon. It depends how the Altered Index Challenge goes. I'm feeling that I might not do it for much longer because I really like doing this, and I'm not sure how much I'm enjoying doing the Altered Index Challenge, but I'll see. I'll see what the next prompt is and whether I fancy doing that too. So I'll see you soon. Bye for now.